Hello everyone, welcome to Mindovermania, where we keep your head above the chaos. I'm recording another pick a card reading where you get to choose your own intuitively channeled message. Today's topic is going to be what's going to happen the next time you see them. So this could be a romantic partnership, a co-worker, a boss, friend, family member, doesn't really matter. I chose 5 piles today to choose. There are 5 piles to choose from today. In order to select your pile, put both feet firmly on the ground. Close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths. Imagine the person that you're going to see next, and then open your eyes, select your pile, and then go ahead and get your messages. Thank you guys so much for supporting my YouTube channel. Please make sure to check out the description down below to learn more about Mindovermania and the work I do, and comment if the reading resonates with you. Thank you so much. See you there. Hello everyone, you have chosen pile number 1, and these are going to be your messages on what's going to happen the next time you see them. We're going to start off with a bit of a vibe check to confirm that this is your pile. If the messages so far don't resonate with you, feel free to select another pile, or this may not be the video for you. Sometimes if a video comes up and it may not resonate with you, that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't messages from Spirit for you. Trust your intuition, guys. So right off the bat, for some reason with your pile number 1, I have a feeling like you have not met this person yet. So maybe this is like a first time meeting. I'm hearing like the word meet and greet. I don't know if you guys are like manifesting a partner or a certain personality. But yeah, it really feels like if you've met before, this just does not feel like your pile. So if you've already met this person, I'd suggest probably another pile, because this is predominantly going to focus on people where you have not met them yet and you're curious to see what it's going to be like. Yeah, I guess I don't really have much else to add for that, so I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards. Okay. What's going to happen when pile number 1 meets this person or their person? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I just keep feeling like this is new or there's news. Because for some of you, I don't know why, again, the vibe feels like VIP, or like maybe you guys are gonna be meeting in a public space, or it's going to give you that vibe of you're meeting someone special and important. So you might be psyching yourself out a little bit. Maybe you're very impressed by this person, or there's just something about the energy that you guys are definitely putting this person on a pedestal, and Spirit's saying like, hey, relax, it's gonna go fine. You know, the situation will go in your favor. I see like someone even like nervously shuffling their feet, or kind of just, you know, not really sure what to do with their hands. And Spirit's just letting you know that when you do meet this person, you gotta relax. Because some of you might not even notice. When this person comes in the room, I'm definitely getting a vibe of, yeah, like, so the scenario I keep getting in my head is almost like a VIP event where you're like, okay, you know, someone's gonna come around the corner, and I've never done VIP before, and then it's just a bunch of people standing in a room, and it's actually really not that big of a deal. But then when that person walks in the room, it feels kind of ordinary, if that makes sense, but also extraordinary because that's that person, you know? I also feel like this might also be some kind of a celebration of some kind. So even if it's not necessarily like you're meeting a celebrity or something like that, it feels definitely like maybe this is a party, an after work party, or a baby shower, or a wedding of some kind. There's just some kind of like social gathering. I have a feeling that that's when you're gonna see this person next. I'm also hearing someday as well, so I really don't have a good time frame for you guys. I know some of you guys, you're manifesting a person, but Spirit's saying, like, wait on that for those specific details. Let's see what card you got. Ooh, okay. So maybe you've rejected this person in the past? And you're like, well, how does that happen if I've never met this person before? And I was like, maybe you didn't know this was your person or a person of importance, right? Because I keep going back and forth between, like, this is a significant romantic relationship and or a work partnership or somebody that is significant, I guess we'll say, in your life. And the rejection feels like maybe you misjudged someone or you treated someone, I'm hearing like an object, which I was like, oh, that's not very nice. And it's like Spirit saying it wasn't intentional, if that makes any sense. So, for example, if you were like, okay, I only like blonde haired, blue eyed people, right? We'll just use that example. So, when this person walked in the room and they didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, you were like, oh, I didn't really notice them because they're not my type or they weren't what I was expecting, right? Meanwhile, they're holding the golden egg, you know. And there's something about like carrying the torch too. So there's something about maybe I get the vibe that this person, when you meet them, they already know things about you. Whether it be from word of mouth, I see it kind of being like maybe there's just casual observers and, you know, your name came up. Again, if this is like a work setting type environment, I'm literally seeing it being like, oh yeah, you know, the bosses were talking about this project and they're like, oh yeah, you know, pile one came in and they were just so over the moon and they were talking about this, this, and this. And so they were very impressed by whatever it is that you showed passion about. Now, if this is a romantic partnership, I do feel like you've got friends, if that makes sense. Like there's something about like maybe you don't even know that others have taken notice. I'm almost hearing like ownership or sponsorship. Like I kind of feel like people are already gunning for you, and that's why this person even took you seriously or even took note, which is kind of hysterical because you're like, I don't even know these people, and it's like it's just who you are. It's what you do. So maybe you guys have a career or job that makes you a little more public facing. So like I would not say like accounting, but even if you were in finance, you know, finance people are by the CFO and the CEOs all the time. You know, finance departments tend to be sitting close to executive suites and whatnot. So it could be literally a matter of you're just walking past each other in the office and you always have good hair or you smell nice or you bring people food at the potluck or something. There's just something about you that, you know, word kind of travels. And again, though, the people that noticed you and spoke up to this person or your person, they were just keeping a careful watch. You know, they were kind of just like, all right, who's this person? They're not matching this and this and this frequency. Huh. They're very interesting. You know, and they saw that you a hard worker. Again, it feels kind of unclear though where you stand on certain things or certain people. So that's why, or a certain someone, you know, maybe there was like a drama or like some office thing. I feel like even if this isn't an office scenario, there's something about the politics in the social scenario feels that way, you know, because like, you know, when you're around a bunch of strangers, you know, especially in this modern day and age, people are a little bit more reserved, I think, than they used to be due to cell phones and all that stuff. And so I definitely get the vibe that whoever this crowd of people this person runs with, they got connections, you know what I mean? So they're always kind of searching and whatever. So when you popped up, they kind of keep a closer eye than you'd expect, simply because they want to have access to you, but they also want to protect access to this person as well as your friends and other people. Maybe because you don't know what you're doing yet, which may be amusing to some. Okay, so like, there's something like I literally just see this person. I don't know if they're going to be dressed really nice or they're dressed in a certain kind of way that makes them stand out. So this could be a formal event, or this could be somewhere where this person just, you know, they want to look better than average, even if it's in a casual setting. They're like, no, 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 I still gotta look, the part, if that makes sense. And they're very like crisp. There's something about they show, I don't want to even say hierarchy, but there's something about their stance and their confidence that, there's something, if you follow social hierarchies, right? This person, off the bat, you'd be able to tell there's something different about them, that maybe they came from a wealthier family, maybe they're a manager, maybe they're a leader, or they're just really in touch with who they are. I've met people that I'm like, you may not be CEO of the company, but I damn know that you know exactly who and what you want, and who you are, that kind of vibe. And so I just see them like their feet's planted and they're kind of just like, they're paying attention to your movements. For the romantic people, they may be checking out your body, but for non-romantic, it's almost like checking out your body language, seeing like, okay, is this person open to approaching or not? I feel like for a majority of you, this person's a male, but this could also be female as well. I'm just getting that energy of I gotta assess before I walk forward, and I have to make sure that they're comfortable before I approach because I don't want to come across a certain kind of way. With the Six of Swords, Five of Cups, and Ten of Cups, I feel like those cards are all kind of giving me a story. You know what I mean? Maybe there is a backstory of like someone moving forward or moving on. With the Five of Cups, it's about like kind of that rejection as well as what I was talking about earlier, where you're kind of sitting there being like, you're not paying attention to the opportunities around you. So this person kind of feels like they've got a shot or they've got a chance in this moment, and they're gonna risk it for the biscuit. which I don't. Which it's kind of funny because this person, I get the vibe that like they're not really risking a lot by either confronting you or talking to you. Maybe they're concerned that a confrontation is going to happen. So I see them like trying to figure out the least confrontational way to approach you. Kind of being like, oh, hey, is that person going to be over at the punch bowl or getting water or going to the bathroom? I feel like bathrooms aren't like a good place, but like for them, I definitely see like if you're hanging around the food, they're going to be like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity, or they might casually bump into you, but they're going to try to make it secret. And again, the way I'm looking at, like, it's almost like their eyes, they're always like either looking at the floor, looking at their phone, looking somewhere else when you're looking at them. So you're thinking they're not watching, but then, when they're sure you're not looking at them, they're watching, on figuring out how to make a move. Again, I feel like for some of you with anxiety, you're thinking they're constantly watching. It's like, no, that's too obvious. This person's a professional. They're socially gifted, I guess, gift of gab, or they're very aware of their presence, and so the last thing they want to do is come across as, I'm hearing like facetious, arrogant, whatever. There's something about their vibe. They're they believe, or they get the something about the version of you you've shown them. They feel like you're very critical or critiquing them. So they're like, off the bat, they're like, I gotta show up correct. Like, I gotta pull out the old school book of how to approach a woman or how to approach a boss or something like that. So it could even be, they think you're the leader and the person in charge in this scenario. And so they're trying to impress you by not coming across a certain kind of way. That's so funny. Yeah, with Ten of Cups, that's more confirmation about there's just gonna be a lot of people, because I feel like this event, even if it's like a networking event, I feel like it's going to be a relatively positive experience for both of you. And so like, again, like with the trophies or whatever, this could be like an award ceremony. This could easily be some kind of dinner or whatever, or like a competitive outing. I could definitely also see like an after work thing where you're like, oh, hey, like people from the other departments is coming, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know this guy worked at our company. Meanwhile, this person has known about you for weeks because the executive won't shut up about the good job you did on this thing. So I think it's just a lot of you watching this pile, you just got to be very, very careful that you're not projecting this onto somebody, because there's something about like you're stuck in your heartbreak state when this person shows up. And so you're not looking for them. And so unfortunately, like, you know, I don't want you to take this message to heart and then you kind of screw up the circumstances, you know. You're moving forward regardless of how you feel. You know, and maybe you're sitting there thinking like, damn, I got passed up for that promotion, or oh, this was a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, oh shoot, my ex is here, or you know, you're like your head's kind of focused on something negative, you know. Um and ironically, like Spirit's making me look at the sticker where it's like, you may not understand what I'm doing, but someday you will. And I think catching you off guard is exactly why Spirit's trying to send that message your way, saying that like you can't predict these things. Okay, time is what it's going to need, and the more you focus and stubbornly try to control manifesting this situation or this relationship, you're going to fumble. You know what I mean? Now, like, I'm not saying that's guaranteed, like that this is guaranteed, but it's also not guaranteed that you're going to fail. You know, just like keep living your life, you know, and don't allow those negative thoughts to cloud your judgment, you know, because this person's going to be significant for your story. I was also feeling my lips too. I'm going to give you a beautiful life. I don't think I can do this anymore. It's just too much to deal with. I mirrored you to make you fall in love with me, and I want to keep my options open. Yeah, so there's something about this first encounter where it's not going to be the end all be all. It's not going to be fireworks. It's not going to be anything crazy. But like with the I'm going to give you a beautiful life, I do feel like there's an opportunity that's going to come from either this conversation with you. So if this person approaches you, I feel like they're just kind of making their presence known, because for some of you they may not even have a direct conversation. They're going to try to, but you know, if you're the shy person, you avoid them. They'll just get the vibe to say, okay, no, maybe not this time around, so maybe the next time I'll catch them. But if you decide to make yourself open and available and not freak out about this connection or whatever's going on, you know, you might be sitting here sad in the corner and this person might feel like, oh, well, this person doesn't want to talk right now. Maybe their dog died or something, you know? So you have to let those barriers down to show that you're open for this. That's the only way you're going to be able to let this person in. And get your 10 of Cups, because this is also not just about this person in general. This is also about like work opportunities too. So you might be struggling with this in general. But with the beautiful life, yeah, I just feel like there's going to be like a really good conversation where this person's kind of like, they're going to say something that's going to lead you into thinking you're going to have further conversations, you know, whether it's going to be partnership, opportunity, like it feels hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like to me, this feels like it's both like it's some kind of partnership or collaboration in some kind of way. And even if it is like romantic, it does feel like, you know, you're going to feel like a little kid. You're going to feel like $1,000,000 after this conversation, because it might be like, hey, your dream job is coming. This person makes you sit there and be like, wow, like they really took notice about that. Wait, they were upset about that tiny small thing? Like there's something about like, that could have been your person talking, sorry, but like there's literally just like this person pays attention to you and you're not used to that, and so it's going to surprise them, I think, when you're not reacting or responding in the way they anticipate. And so that's why they're trying to sweeten the deal at first, to be like, oh, hey, you know, like maybe do you want to go on like this vacation, or check out our vacation packages, or maybe there's some kind of like, you know, I feel like this person's going to be a little transactional at first, or being straightforward and saying, hey, you know, I noticed you and I thought like maybe we could sit and have some drinks and chat, you know, and then they're like, okay, and then you kind of sit there and then they try to lighten the mood and then you're all hyper anxious. Maybe you drink a little bit too much in this conversation, but in general, I'm feeling like you're gonna have a good time, or at least this conversation, you know, you will. I think Spirit's saying like you will have this conversation if it's what you want. Okay, even if you're stubborn. I don't think I can do this anymore. It's just too much to deal with. Yeah, I feel like that's your stress. You know what I mean? Your stress about the situation and maybe about what was happening. So maybe, for example, if you lost your job or you don't like your current job, and this person's coming up to you and being like, hey, you know, like I work in HR, or I was talking to so and so and I heard about your project. Or this is like a partnership or whatever, you know, maybe they saw something online, or maybe they were like, huh, you know, like, yeah, I saw that you publicly talked about okay, my thought talking about like suicide prevention, but that's not what this person would use. I don't know, like there could just be something that they were like, yeah, I saw that you shared this thing, breast cancer awareness. Yeah, I really support breast cancer awareness. You know, finally something like that to kind of just show you that, you know, they kind of resonate with some of your feelings. So I don't know if like maybe you guys are really open and passionate online about your thoughts and feelings about certain things. Could be like politics, could be about something else. But this person's going to kind of come in and try to be like, hey, you know, it sounds like you're dealing with a lot, you know, and I recognize that. Yeah, this person feels really warm and trying to like make you feel comfortable. Um, I mirrored you to make you fall in love with me. Yeah, so maybe this person was trying to keep up an image when around you, and maybe you saw through that image, or you didn't buy it, and so this person was like, I didn't know I was wearing a mask. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. It's kind of like you sort of identified, and maybe I hear it's like this pet peeve of this person. So maybe like this person doesn't like to show who they are at first glance, and then you just sort of blew things out of the water, or like maybe they're seeing reflections of themselves within you. In any case, there's something that like maybe you didn't understand about them, or maybe understand about social boundaries or something. And so the way this person, like maybe for example, you're like having a conversation with this person, you immediately clock that, oh yeah, you know, if you don't sleep past this certain time, you might have this type of sleeping disorder or whatever. And like you clocked this very specific thing about them that just caught them off guard, where they were like, how did you know that? How did you know I had this sleeping problem? Or how did you know that I have this diagnosis? You know what I mean? And you're just sitting there talking like, oh, well, I mean, my sister has it, or like I was dealing with this back in 2009 and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like there's just something about you that this person was kind of upset at first because they thought you were being invasive, and then they slowly figure out that this is just the way you are. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Because like literally this person's kind of like, with like the making you fall in love with me, that's kind of the vibe you give off. Is they think this is an act. They think you're doing this charming whatever. Because they see that a lot in whatever industry they're trying to work with. Especially because like if they're a powerful person, people are trying to schmooze them all the time. You know, so with you, you're coming in with your just silly, autistic, authentic self. Not saying you're silly, but, you know, there's something about this person may find a charm or something ironic and funny about the fact that you are not lying and you don't know what's going on and you don't know why and you're just trying to exist, you know, and you're all sitting there sad and down on yourself when they're just like, are you delusional? Are you okay? Like what's going on here? You know what I mean? This is adorable. This person's energy is also very cute. Um, yeah, I'm feeling like all blushy because I feel like in this encounter, like maybe you're gonna make them laugh, or they're gonna feel dazed and confused, but also like really, really punch drunk or happy to have met you. Yeah. Yeah, there's something just kind of being like, this person's like jumping for joy, and you're just kind of like, tee hee, I'm gonna like. It's almost like for the family photo, you know, where this person feels like they're allowed to just be exactly as how they feel, versus you're like, maybe I should just contain myself a little bit more, you know. I don't want to. I immediately put my hair behind my ears. I was just like, oh, okay, you think I'm cool, okay. And then I want to keep my options open. Yeah, so I feel like the result of this connection or this reunion of some kind, that's why I'm like, I swear, maybe you met this person previously, but you don't remember them. or again, you didn't know them that well. Or maybe you weren't feeling the best at that time, so you weren't able to show up completely. But they noticed you. They noticed you a minute ago. There's something about like maybe you're the hot commodity at the event where they're like, wait, that person's gonna be there? Ooh. Ooh, you got some friends in high places. They're talking about you. I mean, some people are talking shit or whatever, but I think it more so has to do with the fact that they don't know what the situation honestly is. And I feel like this person's kind of like steady, and I'm feeling like it's divinely guided and things are going on course. So, like, despite the fact that, you know, you're going to be moving out of this energy or this frequency of feeling defeated, rejected, cringy, that you're a monster or there's something going on, and they're just like, yeah, no, it's okay. You know, everyone makes mistakes their first time. You know, it's kind of like, imagine like getting a new job, like a sales position, and you accidentally, you know, call the CEO on your first day and you tell them something weird and silly. It's kind of like that sort of vibe. But with the keeping your options open, I feel like the result is going to be, I think it's going to go a certain kind of way. Because I feel like it's not going to have the outcome that you expect. Because to me, at first, I was going to say, oh, like, well, you know, there's going to be options for, like, another time to meet up or whatever. But I kind of see it almost like you guys are talking, and then there's, like, a shift in the conversation, or there's a shift in direction, or, like, people walk up and interrupt. Because, like, I feel like this person will have known people at the event, so they're going to come up and talk, or you're going to get pulled away and pulled aside. And so, like, I think this person's just kind of hoping they're going to encounter you again. I don't really see like an initiative, like no exchanging of phone numbers or whatever, but they're trying to show goodwill and trying to show like, hey, you know, I am open, you know, to options. I'm also seeing serial dater though. So one thing that I will say is when you meet this person, I am getting single vibes. I am getting the vibe of don't project anything onto this connection just yet. Just wait, you know, because with the spontaneous lifestyle, you know, this person very easily could be like, okay, yeah, you know, I had a good time. I'm interested, but, you know. So that's why I don't want you putting pressure on this or feeling bad if you don't get someone's phone number after this or you don't get that thing. I'm also hearing like operation, you know, so maybe you're trying to manifest something in particular. Yeah, because I feel like maybe someone's going to go through surgery, so that might delay something. Interesting. Yeah, but basically Spirit is saying, like, you know, in order to, like, manifest, you know, this good dynamic with this person, just don't overthink it. Don't think, have a good time, release your doubts. It's all good. Like, your worry's gonna wash away when you see how this person truly is and how comfortable they'll make you feel during this encounter or this exchange, you know? And it's like, I'm gonna give you, like, they're going to give you the opportunities and options. Okay, like, they're gonna be direct with you. They are not playing around, you know? It's gonna be very, very succinct, clear, calm, grounded, you know? There's not going to be any guessing games about what's going to happen. And so, again, you might be a little embarrassed, but it's going to be good for you at the end of the day. And you're going to feel really supported afterwards. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching my reading. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. If this resonates with you, share my YouTube channel with your friends, please. And yeah, if you're interested in booking a message with me or reading with me, links are in the description down below. I will see you all next time. Take care, bye. Hello everyone, you have chosen group number 2, and these are going to be your messages on what's going to happen when you see this person next. So, off the bat, we're going to start with a vibe check to make sure that this is your pile. If it doesn't resonate with you, feel free to select another pile. You may have multiple messages in other piles, or this may not be the video for you. So don't be afraid to follow your intuition, and if it doesn't really feel right for you, feel free to choose another one. But right off the bat, I do feel like this, for a majority of the people watching this pile, this is more than likely going to be a romantic partnership. So if you're anticipating meeting a friend, a boss, or whatever, you're gonna have to try a different pile. Because to me, this feels more like, it feels like someone you're either used to seeing, or I don't know if you're like suspicious. There's some kind of like a sneaky energy, right? Where you're kind of sitting there being like, what's gonna happen the next time, you know? Or kind of being like, maybe your energy's in that sleuthing vibe. Because again, I kind of feel like maybe you've been talking about this person or talking to this person indirectly, or like you see each other enough that you're friendly. You know, I definitely don't feel like this is like a negative situation, but I do feel like it feels like there's like a positive connection here. But at the same time, there's mystery. Maybe there was a mistake made. I keep hearing like someone's name in my head that I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, maybe you've been overthinking about a certain scenario, or other people are talking about this person to you. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Because I'm immediately thinking of like, you know, like whenever you have a falling out with someone, but a bunch of your friends are still in the know of what's going on. So then you'll be talking to them, and then they'll bring up, oh yeah, so and so, you know, they were doing this thing, or yeah, I saw them here, and blah 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 blah. And they all know that. For some reason, people think you like hate this person. That's kind of hysterical. So they try not to bring stuff up, but also at the same time, you know, they're curious, you're curious, and they'll just like casually bring stuff up about them. So the way I kind of see it is like the scenario of, okay, when I see this person next, like I'm gonna have to see this person eventually. So, you know, what's it gonna do to me? What's it gonna do to them? What's it gonna do to the situation? You know, there's like, I feel like whatever lore you have with this person, it's also tied to multiple people at once. So there could have been like a public outburst. Like I'm literally seeing like, it gives me like the vibe of a party, and then you just like stood up and was like, hey, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like some kind of a confrontation was very loud in public. It could almost be like, you know, rejecting a boyfriend, or like some kind of drama, and everyone was like whisper 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 about it. It's that kind of vibe. So this is gonna be some juicy tea. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get into your cards. Okay, y'all. While I was pulling your cards, I'm laughing because like the first thought or feeling I got was, oh shit, it's gonna be bad. So maybe you're gonna like show up to the family function or whatever the thing is with lots of people. Like I definitely would not be surprised if this was almost like, not quite like a family reunion, but like think of like a high school reunion, or some kind of like, you know, people have known each other for a while. You know what I mean? People are familiar with everyone else in the scene, so like people got history here. And my first thought was like, ooh, that was some negative energies. And I was like, there's gonna be like a confrontation. But then, like, as I was pulling cards and feeling out, I realized that part of that was your energy projecting that onto it, thinking that there was gonna be some kind of a fight, which was your negative thinking and manifestation. But also, it's kind of funny because, like, there's people that are jealous that want to fight you as a result of whatever that big outburst was in the past, which is so hilarious because, like, I don't even know what the heck you guys did in the past because it varies for everybody, but it's literally like, it's like those two angry, I'm hearing a word that's inappropriate, I don't want to use that, let's just say jerks, female jerks in the corner that are just giving you the stink eye, just sitting there being like, she's just gonna sit here and talk shit to my man and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, they're just bystanders. They know nothing about what's happening, what's going on, whatever, and they're just like mean mugging you, and you're just gonna laugh about it. You know what I mean? You're just like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm like, who are you? Whatever. If it ain't your business, then don't pay me any mind. Some people might avoid you, but in general, I feel like people are just more curious than anything because they're like, oh, I've never seen you act this way. Like, what's the deal? You know? But your person is nowhere to be found at this point in time. So I definitely feel there's going to be like motion in the ocean before your person even arrives on the scene. Again, I see it also too, like it's going to be like a bigger room and people in clumps, you know, and that could also not necessarily even being the literal situation. That's just the energy of what's happening. I don't want to even. It's weird because like I don't want to even spoil it because I've got like these cards and I'm just like, I don't want to see it just yet, and it's just like, just be careful, okay? Like, you know, the future can change and you got to make the right decisions for you based off of what you need to say and do. This is a general reading, and also, even if it is a general reading, you know, this could go both ways, okay? There's nothing guaranteed about these tarot readings, okay? Just disclaimer. Anyways. Okay, that's more confirmation. Yes, you got the Magician, Three of Cups, and the Moon, okay? Which the Three of Cups is more confirmation that this is some kind of a social gathering and there's gonna be friends. So I have a feeling you're not gonna be alone with this person. I feel like, again, you might show up with someone else. I'm hearing like you're gonna show up with somebody. So it could literally even be like you bring in your new boyfriend or partner or a friend or something. There's some kind of whatever, and then everyone's just gonna be looking at you too. Oh god. Again, it may not necessarily be that you have a partner with you, but for example, if you're with someone with the opposite sex, everyone's gonna be thinking, okay, that's her taste. Or everyone's gonna be like, oh, I heard about you. So this is the legend. The Legend of Zelda. Yeah. Okay, with the Moon and the Magician, I do feel like there's gonna be like a toxic situation that's gonna be resolved. But you're gonna have to do some wordsmithing to overcome this situation as well. Especially with some of these people, because some of these people are assholes, but I'm seeing more of like a socialite thing where you have to pay attention to and speak very quickly. You know what I mean? You're only going to get one shot to say what you need to say. And, you know, so make your words count. I love you more than... Oh. I misread that. It says, I love you more than tongue can tell. And I almost read that as love you more than any tongue can tell. So I was almost like, oh, in any language, we know they're hot. Because I was like thinking like tongue. I was like, we talking about like kissing and making out? And I was like, no, this kind of feels like tongue-tied, you know? And it's kind of like, even if you are a little bit awkward and shy, like you're still going to be judged no matter what. So don't really overthink that part. Because I think people aren't judging you on that. They're judging you on your character. And if you decide to stay silent about something, or if you're going to cause a scene again. I'm trying to get out of my karmic situation, but it's complicated. Ooh. Oh no. So maybe someone's spouse is going to be there. Someone's going to be critical of you. So that's why I could see like this person just kind of watching you in the corner being like, interesting. You know, like they're kind of eyeing up like, is this the person I want to confront or whatever? There's some kind of a secret though between you and your person or this person that you're going to see next. Because there's something like, I don't know, maybe like the girlfriend knows or the boyfriend knows, or there's something about like, I feel like your person is going to have a girlfriend or some kind of significant other present. I'm not going to lie. Whether you know who this person is or not, that's up to debate. That's up to whatever your personal situation is. But somebody feels sexually threatened by you or pressured. Something about their relationship with your person is feeling pressure because you walked in the room. That's the best way to say it. With the I'm trying, you know, there's some kind of energy of like your person's trying to balance the situation. So for some of y'all, this could be like a baby mama versus the girlfriend. You know, one of those things. You know, maybe you're showing off your new man. They're showing off their new girlfriend, wife, boo thing. I love to read all your old messages you sent me. They make me smile. You got away with me. Oh, 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 this is messy. And I feel like you're projecting something onto the situation when it's like, it's not that bad. And I was like, Spirit's just saying, take it easy. Take it easy, okay? Like, don't be throwing any muddy energy into the water, okay? Like, I know you want this to be inseparable, but I don't know. There's some. It's like it feels weird because I'm afraid to even say certain things because I don't want to manifest it. You know what I mean? That's why you have to be responsible with your manifesting. So, like, if you want this person back in your life, you gotta learn to shut up real quick. Okay? There's something about like number one. Okay? You gotta be number one no matter what's going on. Don't overanalyze this other person. You know, you can be aware, you can be friendly, but don't make a mistake here. Okay, that's all I'm hearing is just don't say shit about fuck. You know, even then I'm literally being like, don't cuss. You know, I'm like, be very, very, very specific about your word choice, your clothing, and your actions. Okay, just, you know, don't come in dressed in a certain kind of way. Just be normal, be casual, be cool. Please. Otherwise, all the swords are going to come out. This person's like looking for a fight. All right, or use it, or what I see is they're trying to find something to learn about you to use against you later. That's what this energy is. And it feels like it's like for a back and forth. You know, this person wants to either try confrontation or just talking mad shit. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna be like, oh, who's this hoe? Oh, okay, you're the other one. You're the other bitch. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they think you're cheating. Maybe they think your person's got something going on. You know, maybe this person's flirting with you. I don't know. Everyone's kind of different, but there's definitely a vibe that this person's jealous, or there's something going on in their situation, and you got brought up, and not in a positive way. And again, even then, I'm like, I don't even feel like your person's in the room yet, or maybe you're more focused on this confrontation. You may want to make sure that whenever you do see this person next, get out of your head. But there might also be like some conversation and stuff before you even get to see this person, because it's kind of like a reception before some kind of an event, maybe, where it's kind of like, or maybe your person hasn't gotten there yet, or maybe they're out taking care of something, taking the kids out or whatever. You got away with me. Oh my god. So there's something about your dynamic with this person, or your person, quote unquote. So maybe you feel possessive or a certain kind of way about this person. I'm just saying how it feels. Because I was hearing a very strong, like, your person, and I'm like, I'm not declaring anything. You know, you're sitting there being like, this, what? You're like, I like this person, but, like, my person, that's a stretch. Oh. Did you say something that made this person think that you're trying to come in and steal? They misread your vibes. Oh. Oh my god. I'm literally sitting here being like, "Oh, you may have fucked." It's okay. It's just you're very passionate, okay? Oh, this is some petty jealous energy too, because it's kind of like if you have like a best friend at work, right? And everyone knows like you're good, you're pals, right? You're friends. And then all of a sudden, like, you get in a fight because you're close with that person. So like, you know that you can trust that person, you're safe with that person, right? But then everyone else around you is like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't even know you had a vibe, or like they kind of knew, kind of speculated, kind of didn't know, but then suddenly everybody was like, wait a second, how are you involved in any of this? So then everyone started doing snooping, and then stories came up and vibes and all this other. Meanwhile, you're not aware of any of this shit. You're just kind of being like, I looked at the guy's shirt and I said three things That's it. And y'all just went fucking crazy with that? Are you serious? What fresh hell is this? Okay, I guess that's why Spirit wanted me to address all these other people in the room, because they needed acknowledged so you can understand your person's reaction. Because there's something about, like, I don't know if your person was pissed off at something that you said, or you outed them about something that you're not supposed to talk about, or like. I'm also getting like, is she stupid? Like, oh my god. Oh, you're gonna get in big trouble with this person. Or just with a person. I don't know. It's silly though, because I'm sitting here like, I keep getting this like panicked feeling of like I'm in a lot of fucking trouble, but then I'm also like, it's fine. Like, it's you, I guess. Maybe that's what you need, the reassurance that like it's you. Okay, like you can navigate this, you can deal with these social things. It's like it's way more terminal for everybody else involved than this person. I mean, this person might think it's hilarious. I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't. But, like, somebody's pressed. I feel like your person's a little pressed, but they're trying to save face about something. I need some time to sort out my life. And then, would you pick up if I called you now? Late night call, express love sexting. Oh my god. Did you message this person something inappropriate when you weren't supposed to? I was like, maybe a wedding significant. This is kind of like, it's kind of like somehow you knew this person was on a date, even though you didn't, but it's like literally like your person is going on a date with their baby mama or their new girlfriend, and then like your name flashes up, and immediately this person gets so jealous, immediately is just like, oh hell no, that, why is that hoe coming up? No, 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 no. Meanwhile, you were like, hey, you know, I accidentally left this thing over at your place or whatever, or it feels like something like you thought it was very innocent, but then this person was like, oh, so you're cheating on me now already? Like, meanwhile, your person's like, I don't know. I don't know what this is. Meanwhile, this bitch is like, how is this crazy bitch knowing that I'm with my person right now? Like, how could she do this? Blah, 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 blah. And like all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, pile two. You sweet summer child. The chaos you unintentionally caused. Oh, and like, it's crazy too, because like, when you meet this person next, you know, they're going through a hard time. Like, I don't know if they're going through a divorce. I don't know if they're going through something messy. You know, we got legal issues. And the fact that we've got, like, I'm trying to sort out my karmic situation, but it's complicated twice. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if your person's going to show up to the function. Being perfectly honest, I kind of feel like they're so distracted. They're not even there emotionally. So they might not even notice you're there. I could very easily see this being like, so when your person shows up to the venue or the event, this person kind of whisks them away or tells this person off. Like, I have a feeling like, you know, this person like is just distracted, you know, and they're like, maybe they're on the phone a lot, or maybe they're just really trying hard to avoid a fight or a battle of some kind, you know, but like you have a way of manipulating the situation. And like I really think it's authentic to this person or your connection with this person. And that's why it's kind of like I said with the whole like maybe like a work best friend. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, in the office we've always been cool, but then now that everyone's or I shouldn't say work wife, but like their actual wives or girlfriends are here, and then now all of a sudden you're changing things up because you don't want flack when you're like, well, we weren't doing anything bad in the first place. And it's like, well, well, in this person's mind, you know, you declared war. Meanwhile, I was saying like when I'm like, not me, pile number two. I was like, I have nothing to do with this. Okay, you leave me out of your personal lives, pile number two. But like with the like, if I called you right now, would you pick up? You know, I feel like there's a lot of also fantasizing about this scenario of like maybe being like, I just need to be honest, you know, I need to clear, like, I feel like you guys, pile number two, you're an honest energy versus like the next time you see them, like, it's gonna be just like communication's gonna be fuddled all over the place. And there's something about like you're gonna get away with it. Whatever this thing is that happened, you're gonna get away with it. And Spirit's warning and be like, hey, don't mess this up. Don't mess up a good thing. But I feel like this situation with this toxic person is gonna be over and done with shortly. Like, you know, I'm seeing something blindfolded, so like I don't know if there's like alimony or like maybe this person put a clause in their divorce papers, or that's why I'm sitting there going like, did they get married? Or because this person, like I feel like with your person, this person feels very fleeting. Like, you know, maybe there's something about their dynamic that just escalated and got too toxic too quickly, or maybe you revealed this person's truth. Meanwhile, you're like Houdini, who done it? Like you just kind of came out of nowhere, being like, "Surprise, bitch!" Like I didn't do anything. And there's something about like your person, like in your next encounter, you're gonna do something that makes them smile. You know, like maybe they might look over at you and wave and smile, and you know maybe piss off their partner even more. But you know they're just gonna be distracted the whole time they see you, so it's really not gonna be that big of a deal. Um, but I just keep seeing like they make me smile. So that could be you, but it really does feel mutual. I think it's more of like, okay, I saw my person, you know, all right, you know, they're looking good. I see them like with kids or going and joking and talking to people. And you know, you're kind of sitting there being like, well, if I go up and talk to them, you know, what would kind of happen? Which I feel like I'm gonna pull a card. Um because I'm feeling like you don't necessarily need to, or you don't need to respond in the way that you think, ooh, in the way that you think you do. Y'all, these cards. Look at this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the camera. Look at these cards. Justice and Nine of Swords. Are you like more of a social justice warrior? Because the vibe I'm kind of getting is like maybe that was some of the outbursts before. Is like maybe someone said something racist and you just up and were like, or you just handed someone's ass to them. And so like I feel like if you did go up and try to talk to your person, I think that would actually be worse for your connection, because I'm seeing with the Nine of Swords, because this person's distracted and they're just trying to keep the peace and trying to keep their head above water, like that would be a nightmare if you came up to talk to them. Because there's just something about it that like I feel like you wouldn't be able to let something go, or this person can't, so it's definitely giving the vibe of like, hey, if you want to start a fight, show up, but like it really feels like it's not worth it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because like there's some fighting that you're like, oh, this is gonna be juicy tea, or like, oh, maybe I'm gonna get justice for this, and this just feels sad. You know what I mean? Like this kind of feels like if you guys try to have a confrontation the next time you see this person, like don't. This person, they need a timeout with whatever's happening between y'all. Like they need a real timeout. You know, and it's interesting because like the I love came to mind when I was sitting here, and it's kind of like if you love this person, like if you really do, shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth. You didn't do anything wrong, but just, you know, this person's going in a relationship with somebody else, clearly, or fantasizing, or there's just something going on that they need to clear their head out, and they've got bigger responsibilities. You know, I see them on the phone. You know, they've got matters that are out of their hands now. And then like with Call You Now, it just kind of feels like, aw, this is sad. I feel like this person they just want to stop talking around you. Because they don't want to mess it up any more than they already have. Like, this person knows that they fucked up. And now the cussing's coming out. And I was just like, whoa, dropping the F-bomb. And they're like, well, consequences, schmonchmenses. I already messed up. And I think this person's really, really down on themselves. And, like, I think you're both feeling that, like, would you pick up if I called you now? I'm hearing, like, lips of an angel from Daughtry. Oh, God. Are you guys having an affair? I'm just hearing my name in the head and just be like, don't say that. And I was like, that's what it is. I'm calling it. You know? Like, you don't have to be having sex or whatever. Basically, the energy between whatever's going on between the two of you is palpable. There's just a connection there that's very loving. And it goes beyond choice. You know what I mean? I really don't feel like you guys, pal number 2, and your person have a choice in how much you like each other and miss each other. But to me, that's kind of the vibe, is I just really feel like you guys are missing each other and are down about this situation in general, you know? And this person's trying to do the right thing, you know? Doesn't mean they're succeeding, but they're just trying to be okay. They're trying to get their life back together. You know, with the moon, there's just a lot of... I'm hearing, like, shaking. Like, I don't know. I think you guys believe this person's more confident than they are. Because with the moon, I'm literally feeling like they might be, like... They might have been having an anxiety attack seeing you. You know what I mean? Like, literally shaking and, like, crying or over a message or something. And maybe they want to say that they love you, but they can't. Due to social responsibilities. You know? They feel like an awful person. Like the worst person in the world. Because of you, but also because of what they've done, you know? Like, it's not like they're innocent, but, like, they genuinely don't think they're worth your time and energy, your money, or... Yeah, I don't know, there's just something... They're very blind to your authentic truth. Because they see you as this badass, like, oh yeah, you know, coming in to chop my head off, and this person's just like, I don't have a head to chop off. My head's been chopped off so many times, I'm surprised I got any balls left, you know? Yeah, this person's like, they're taking responsibility for their actions, but they're doing it in a way that's so self-depreciating that it's, like, almost dangerous, you know, like, that kind of self-harm. So I'd say just, like, take it easy on everybody involved in this situation and just kind of stay out. Just sort of be like, I exist, you have encountered me briefly, I'm gonna move forward, you know? And, you know, there's just something about, like, even when I said move forward, like, this person's just kind of, like, staring, but, like, they're not okay, and there's not really much you can do about that. You know? And they're just gonna look at you and be like, you got away. And they have to forgive themselves for that, which I don't think they can right now. I'm also hearing the word Capricorn. My eye was drawn to that. Yeah. Because, like, maybe this person just, all they think about is sex at this point. Because they don't want to think or feel or anything else. They just want to touch the pain away instead of figuring things out. Because they're like, I can't do that. I'm too far gone. You know. But this matters. So, I'm not gonna do my normal shtick. So... Aww. I feel bad for your person. Your person's, like, really miserable, and I feel so bad. But I think you caught someone's eye, and I think you have some allies that's more on his side, that I think they might change their tune about supporting the situation or what's going on. Because I see like this other person, you know, they might have a certain kind of feeling about the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, and then they're seeing the true colors starting to emerge, and so they're looking at you and they're like, damn girl, like what, they're like, what are you doing chasing after this person? You know what I mean? They're like, what are you doing? You know, one man's trash is another treasure, but they're like, huh. And then the more that they look at you, they're just like, yeah. They kind of pick up on the secret, you know? So, yeah. There's also like a jealousy thing too. Interesting. Well, be on your toes, guys. Be on your guard. Watch your Facebooks, watch your social medias and stuff like that, and just, you know, live your life. All right. This kind of drama, I feel like you're kind of a badass warrior bitch that, you know, there's probably better things your energy could be put towards, but I think there's meaning in what's happening here. And I think if it matters to you and it means something to you, then go through with whatever you got to do, you know, to keep yourself sane. But like, again, there's a balance, you know, and there's a price to pay if you try to meddle in things that aren't meant for you, you know, or not waiting. Like, let your manifestations happen. And I know you want to check in, but like, just refrain for a little bit, you know. Would you pick up if I called you? There's other people that need your energy right now, and some of you are not being responsible, some of you are, but like, just be responsible in your connection with this person, because this person's really fragile right now. And my neck hurt, damn, all of a sudden. And it's like the stress is getting to both of you. So just say I love you and walk forward. Now, whatever that looks like for you. Just without this person for now. Okay? It'll be okay. Y'all gonna be alright. It's gonna be fine. Everybody just take a couple breathers. You know, mistakes were made, but like, it's really not that life-threatening for now. So, anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. If you're interested in booking reading, links in the description down below. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Ooh. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 3. And these are going to be your messages on what's going to happen when you see them next. So, just for a bit of a vibe check at the beginning of this pile to make sure it is your pile, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I was sensing when I first tapped into the energy of this group. So, due to the drama of the last pile, I was sitting there being like super tired, and I was like, I want to lay down. And I was like, no, you've got like 2 other piles you got to get through, or 3. And I was like, okay, fine. Let me go eat some cookies. So then I sat and I ate some cookies, and then I reflected on the stuff I said in the last pile, and I was just feeling really like, dang, you know, I never considered this and these other things. And so after eating, hydrating, whatever, immediately I came back and I was like, oh, no, I've got the energy for the rest of the piles. So maybe you guys have been tired, or maybe you guys needed to have your little break, your little refresher, get your drinky drinks and all that other stuff before coming and talking to this person again. So like, maybe you had an argument, maybe there was some kind of confusion or kerfuffle of some kind. Again, this could apply to both friendship, romance, work, irregardless, whatever, but there was some kind of a mess, and now you're trying to figure out how to resolve it, I guess. And this kind of feels like maybe some kind of a reconciliation motivated encounter, you know, or kind of being in that energy. I definitely get the vibe though, pile number 3, you guys are coming forward towards this person or your person. So if that does not resonate with you, select another pile or feel free to find a different video. But for you guys, it's kind of like you're gonna try to get at the heart of the matter. Maybe you misunderstood somebody, you know, maybe someone wronged you, and you're trying to figure out, well, You know, are they going to do anything about it? Are they going to fix it? You know, it's going to be kind of that, like, just kind of checking in to see how has this person improved or changed since the drama unfolded, you know? And I think you're kind of nervous about it, you know, because what happened hurt. You know, what was said was not good. And I'm also hearing, like, raising your frequency because you're going to be like, okay, like, it's going to be hard facing this person again. However, at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do for my own healing path, you know, because I feel like you coming towards this person, you're not being forced to. This is you genuinely trying to reconcile. And I think you guys have honest intentions in general. You're genuinely trying to be like, I'm still feeling hurt by this. I want to see this story get closed out and move forward, you know, for your own sake or safety, you know. So, anywho, yeah, because I'm also feeling like maybe you got some backlash or heat from some people, you know, that didn't know what they were talking about, and so you're like, hey, come on, let's put this aside and let's have a direct conversation. I'm also hearing like logic. I'm trying to not stay down a particular storyline because I feel like maybe you guys, pile number 3, you have a tendency to backtrack to old patterns or ways of thinking where you're kind of being like, okay, I'm setting this way, I'm setting this way. Oh, shoot, nope. I'm learning to now pause, reflect, breathe. But then you're realizing, oh, I was out of breath. Okay, gotta come back. So maybe you guys went to therapy, or maybe you're really trying hard to just be like, fuck it. Okay, everything's on fire, but I'm gonna do the right thing. You know, that just kind of is what feels like the energy is doing. Even though I can't talk. All right, anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and pull your cards and see what is your next encounter with this person gonna be like, or your person. Wow, okay, pile number 3. I don't even know if I want to say, like, I'm feeling all like hot and bothered and kind of just like, oh, because like I feel like, first of all, you might resonate with pile number 2, or you couldn't decide which one, because I almost feel like you're the opposite person in the scenario of pile number 2, but I don't want to guarantee that necessarily because everyone's got a different situation, and you know, these are just general readings. But like I feel like with you guys, like, wow, you and your person, man, or you have had all of this stuff bottled up inside for your person, and you're feeling really, really anxious, you know, when you're first going to see them again. Because, first of all, for some weird reason, my deck, my love triangle oracle card deck, I just wanted to have it close nearby my side. You know what I mean? So it's literally almost like I just feel this energy of like when you see them, you're literally going to be trying to like hold your own hand or try to hold it together as best as possible because you need like a lot of extra reassurance that like, hey, it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? And then another thing, I was looking at the other sticker where I was like, oh, so like maybe cats are important. Maybe it's going to be like a low-key, down-to-earth, chill vibe where it's like, okay, maybe someone's at someone else's house or a house and there's a cat there, so you're like, oh, hey, let's just stop and pet the kitty, you know, or the dog or whatever's happening. I'm going to move this out of the way so that way I can see the vibe, but I'm literally like... So you might be... I don't know if like maybe you guys are struggling with addiction, or maybe there's just an addictive energy of you're really trying hard to not like use your intuition or like trying to... I'm hearing like delaying an outcome or something like that. So I don't really... I feel like your intentions still remain mysterious, at least yet. Or maybe it's mysterious to me as a reading, because like I feel like you guys know, but like there's definitely this energy of like, okay, like I think this is what the card said was gonna happen, so I'm just gonna like be strategic to pay attention to these things. That's, oh my god. Did you guys get a reading from somebody about your person? Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so I'm literally seeing like when you are meeting your person again, like I almost feel like you're gonna be keeping the reading or messages from a reading in mind while you're interacting with them. So I don't like I think this is funny because there's just something about the way you're going about it where you're like, okay, like, I was told it's going to be okay, but I have to do this and I have to do this in order to manifest this, which that's not how it works, but that's so cute. Because you're really just trying to be like, okay, like, I want to be strategic. This is strategy, guys, okay? Like, I don't want to mess this up. And, like, I'm having a hard time looking at the other person, and I'm just like, relax, like, it's okay. But yeah, I'm like, you were crushing on this person so bad, or you're just like really like tee hee hee. Again, though, but like, I feel like when you see this person next, I feel like you guys are gonna be having a serious conversation, and I feel like it's gonna be in the like a, I'm feeling like private residence, so or somewhere kind of cozy like a cafe, but like there's no people, somewhere that's like not like remote, but definitely like away from people so they can't overhear. Maybe someone's paranoid about cameras or something like that, or anxiety. But like, I definitely feel like it's more of like a home environment where it's like, hey, we're sitting in the lounge or the living room, or we're getting coffee, sitting at the kitchen table, and being like, okay, hey, let's have this like down to earth conversation. Because I keep focusing on the cat, being like, oh, kitty, I'm just gonna distract myself so that way I don't have to focus on this very uncomfortable conversation. You're my muse. Aw. I just keep hearing big dummy because this is misspelled. It's the wrong your. So maybe you're like admitting to somebody that you did something stupid. It's gonna be kind of heartbreaking where it's like, no, I'm sorry, I'm that dumb. I'm so proud of you. Oh, I feel like this other person's proud of you, or they're gonna say they're proud of you. I know I fucked up. Please forgive me. You don't. Oh, I'm hearing like you don't know what love means in my head, and I was like, oh no, no, we're not bringing in the music. But like I'm seeing like you don't know how bad it hurts me to see you with somebody else. Oh, did you like mistake someone's like Facebook post for like someone being in a relationship with somebody else, or like married, or like, I don't know, you're just gonna get like some kind of like confirmation that your intuition was way more accurate than what you were observing with your eyes. And so this is gonna be like, that's why I see you literally like holding onto your cards for dear life now, because you're just like, okay, this is the only validation I have. Chris's readings or like somebody else's readings, it's like this is the only thing keeping me sane. And Spirit's like, you gotta just say fuck it, man. Like, you already know, if you already know it's gonna work out, then you don't need to be asking 20 questions all the time. It's like you don't know how bad it hurts. Like there's some kind of like maybe there's been something going on between you and this other person for a while, and what I get the vibe is like you have a very difficult time understanding this other person's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Again, I keep hearing like you're focused on your thoughts rather than your own emotions. Maybe you're very disconnected from it, or you have a hard time, or you're like, oh, I'm focusing on the dumpster fire or you're just not taking people's dumpster fire seriously. You know what I mean? There's something about like the way your brain works. You genuinely don't like pick up on certain things. Like you hurt somebody, or like literally the visualization I got was with this dumpster, it was like, oh, all of those flames are made of cardboard. They're not actually, real fire. And then this is just like a little box, a cardboard box. When it's like, no, it's a dumpster, and that's real flames. That can hurt people. And so you might have a hard time registering social cues, or like, you can clearly see in this image, all right, well, that's garbage, but like that's just a box. So you might, I don't know if you guys like have I'm hearing like either personality disorder or a mental health disorder of some kind, where you genuinely have a difficult time piecing reality together or certain pieces together. So you are slowly learning in therapy or doing your work, your self-care work, that you're suddenly going, oh, these are not fake flames. They can be fake flames, but if I'm feeling heat, then they're probably not fake. Yeah. That's a very interesting, like, kind of disorder. Like, just the way that your thought process is working. I just can only hope that whatever I'm saying makes sense to you guys. Because, you know, there's like all kinds of different things this could potentially be. And I've already got like all these cards. So I'm like really hoping this helps you out. I have cheated on you. Ooh. Did somebody cheat on somebody? Right person, wrong time. Ooh. I'm dating multiple people right now. Ooh. Oh, King of... What was that? You just saw that. I'm watching you every day from a fake profile with the King of Cups. Ooh! You got eyes for somebody else now. Ooh! Oh, there's some kind of rejection energy. King of Cups, Nine of Cups, and Strength. Are you gonna be letting someone down easy? Yeah, this King of Cups kind of feels like there's somebody else for you. And you're gonna have to move forward with this other person. Oh, that was like so weird, because it's like I'm seeing, like, the moment that King of Cups showed up, I was just like, all right, just clear the board. It doesn't matter anymore. And I was like, hold on. I'm gonna put both feet on the ground. Because we're talking about, like, what happens when you see this person. It's almost kind of like maybe when you're finally in the situation where you're having this conversation with friends or whatever, you suddenly realize, oh my God, no, it was never about that person. I don't feel that way at all. This is always going to be my person. Or this person's following you and your lead or whatever, and you're not picking up on the social cues. So, like, oh God, I could literally see it being like you're talking to your ex, like an ex-best friend or an ex-partner or somebody like that, and you're like, I know I fucked up and blah, 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 and you're saying all this stuff, and then suddenly you're just like, wait a minute. I'm already with my spouse. You know what I mean? What am I doing talking to this idiot? Like, you don't know how bad it hurts. Yeah, like, I don't know if, like, you've been leading this other person on, or, like, you didn't know what this person was going through. Yeah, what the hell? I'm so confused, because I'm sitting here like, we're talking about your person, right? Now we're all focused on this King of Cups energy. Yeah, because I'm like, where's the Queen? And I'm like looking at the Nine of Cups over here. That's like inner fulfillment, inner emotional fulfillment and content. You know? And like with King of Cups, that person, I mean, this is a businessman. He's got style, he's got swagger, and also too, like, his cup's empty, but like, that's because he drank it all. He's very fulfilled. And how he's emotionally pursuing things. So, like, I could also see, like, this person has a satisfying career and he's doing what he loves. And this person's also content being on their own, with or without you. But this person's, like, following you, or they're following after you, if that makes sense, if you choose to accept it. And with Strength, like, this conversation or this situation that with your person, in the moment, you're going to have a lot of strength to kind of let this person down. Because you're trying to cover up your mistake with this dumpster fire. Right? It's kind of like being like, hey, I'm emotional. I don't want to face that I fucked up. And, you know, we gotta just roll the dumpster away, because the dumpster fire was fake the whole time. It's kind of like realizing, it's like kind of like getting sober. You know what I mean? Where you're suddenly like, oh, wait a second. Like, I made all these decisions when I wasn't clearly mentally okay, you know? And I feel like your person kind of knows. They kind of know you're in a messed up state. If anything, I feel like your person's way more understanding of what you're going through because of the fact that you're like flipping around and then like with the cat and whatever. So I feel like this other person's kind of used to your mistakes by this point. I'm also seeing like with the crown and whatever. So like maybe you lose your head or lost your top or flipped out over somebody or something and you didn't know what you were talking about at the time. I feel like this person understands, but it's also kind of like this conversation's going to make things clearer to you on who and what you want. With the I'm watching you every day from a fake profile, because like there's kind of a bit of a jealousy stalker energy vibe for some reason. Like you're my muse, you know? It kind of feels like maybe you've been pursuing this person for a while, or you were so obsessed with them, you know, like, I'm proud of you, all that other stuff, and then you're like, this person doesn't get me at all. It was never about your person. It was that they were your muse. Yeah, maybe this person's familiar with, like, mental health or stereotypes or whatever. It's giving me, like, I'm attractive but unstable. But with, like, I'm dating multiple people right now, right person, wrong time, I've cheated on you. Yeah, it kind of feels like, with the stabbing in the back, I do feel like this person was hurt. Someone was definitely at least betrayed, you know, where it's kind of like I was seeing someone else while we were in a relationship. I was trying to ignore it, avoid it. I'm currently dating multiple people right now. Like, there's kind of like this energy of like maybe you thought this person was exclusive when they weren't in actuality, emotionally or whatever. And that's where there's like a weird distortion because it's like I'm suddenly like feeling like the energy shifting of like that's you lying to yourself and whatever. And I'm like, y'all, I really hope you're on medication or you're talking to a therapist or like family about it, because I'm sitting here like with collecting information, it's kind of like you lose control of a certain version of yourself when you can't see or think clearly. Because to you, you're like, there's only one, and then you're suddenly just like, I don't care about anybody right now. You know? I'm focusing on my own feelings. I'm by myself, So maybe alcoholism's a thing, to help self-medicate. This person's gonna love you regardless, right? You know, this person's already seen you go through whiplash and whatever, and kind of already know you have a mood disorder, and they don't care. But again, that's that King of Cups. This other person, though, like, I can't even stay present in the moment. So I feel like when you meet your person, this person, the one you're asking about, and having this exchange with them, just understand that you're probably going to disassociate a lot. I think it's going to be very hard for you to stay present to understand and say, hey, I was struggling with my alters. Maybe you were having an anxiety attack. Maybe, you know, you cared about this person, but you weren't responsible at the time. You know? And so, like, for example, I could see it definitely being like, hey, you know, you were there when I needed it, but it was never going to work out. And that's like a really hard thing to admit. And I just see you guys begging for forgiveness, and it's like, guys, relax. Like, you don't need to go into the details. You don't need to flagellate yourself in front of this other person. You know, like, they're going to be hurt, but it's going to be okay. All right? You know, like, if you cheated on them, just say it. You know what I mean? I was irresponsible, and I wasn't thinking clearly. You know? I miss you. Is this King of Cups and this person the same person? Oh, that's weird. Good grief. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sitting here being like, do you, like, I'm like, is this like multiple personality disorder? Or is this some kind of like, I know I fucked up. Did somebody catch you? I don't know. But anyways, though, in terms of like how this conversation's gonna go, I think just like, sure, it's gonna be a dumpster fire. It's not gonna be a comfortable conversation. And I want you to understand that, like, admitting that you fucked up, I don't know, there's just something about like your words, like you keep doubting that what you are saying is responsible. So like, for example, when I was about to say, like, you were going to say, I know I fucked up, my first impression was going to be like, well, this person's going to like flip out. You know, they're not going to care, you know, irresponsible, bad, 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 bad. But then I'm sitting here being like, is that responsible? Saying this? Are you taking action or making choices that do that? You know, there's something about like, you don't know how, and it's like, well, clearly you've got some mental health stuff going on, pile number 3. I was about to say 4, and I was like, oh, focus on the cat. Yeah, whatever's going on with y'all's mental health, pile number 3. Understand that this is a very difficult thing to manage on your own and by yourself. And I get that you seek a lot of comfort in this King of Cups energy, you know, needing a supportive, emotional, masculine figure in your life to help you feel responsible and be responsible. And I think it's okay to admit that you don't know how to feel fulfilled in yourself on your own just yet. I think that's okay to admit to yourself. Because, you know, navigating a mental illness like this is scary sometimes. You know, you don't necessarily know what's up from down. And with like collecting information and all that, you know, you're trying to play your part. You can take responsibility for your choices and behaviors, but also at the same time, I think, I don't know, I'm proud of you. I think even being able and willing to have this conversation with someone, you know, being able to, like, you're not responsible for other people's thoughts, feelings, and actions, right? You're responsible for yours. And at the same time, like, if you're not able to pinpoint how you're impacting other people, or you can't gauge that, then it's definitely worth talking to somebody about that. And being able to admit it is the first step. Because I think it will get easier once you're able to identify what's happening inside of you. So that way you can communicate that easier with other people. I feel like some people already know, though, and that's why they're patient. And they're just waiting you to come out of your spiral. But, you know, it's also kind of like you've got like a lion or a lioness here. They just want to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself or somebody else or do something crazy, you know? But I don't know. I think you've found the right person. It just was the wrong time. And I think that's okay to accept that that happens in life. And you're not a bad person for letting anybody down or making a choice that's best for you. You know? It was interesting, too, because immediately I looked at the sticker and I was like, it's plastic again. And I was like, interesting. Maybe that information will help you figure something out. But, you know, taking responsibility, I think it's going to look differently when you start to understand how your brain actually works, not what you think it does. Anyways, though, thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. If you're interested in purchasing a reading, check out the description down below. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 4. And these are going to be your messages on what's going to happen whenever you see your person next. I don't know. Even while I was talking, I was like, it's going to go down. Sorry, y'all. I'm just feeling a little sleepy. I had to take a break in between piles because I was like, I don't know. I just need a little bit of a break. Because some of these energy readings have been a little bit intense. For you guys, pile number 4, though, I feel like before you go see this person, take a chill pill. Definitely make time and energy for yourself, you know. Eat something. Drink some water. Make sure you're well hydrated. I think that'll just make it a lot easier to manage being around this person. I don't know, again, my eyes are like focused on the dumpster fire, but it feels like it might be a different situation. So like maybe you're upset about something else, maybe you're upset about the world or whatever, and Spirit's kind of warning you to not take that personally in regards to your relationship with this person. Yeah, with yawning, I'm almost feeling like you're needing to utilize your voice with this person. So maybe, for example, you're trying to be responsible, maybe you're trying to just kind of open up, reach out to this person. I don't know if you guys haven't hung out in a while, or maybe you guys are trying to do some kind of self-care. I'm having a hard time reading y'all's situation. So if you don't feel particularly drawn or resonating with any of the messages so far, you know, feel free to check out the other piles. But there's just something about y'all's energy that's very just kind of like, I see nothing wrong with what I did. So I'm just going to show up and I'm going to be like, I don't know if you're anticipating like this person crawling back to you, or like, I don't know, I get the vibe that maybe you guys are a little smug, or there's just something kind of like, well, it's not my problem, you know? Interesting. I don't know if this is good or bad energy or what's up, so let's pull some cards and get the tea of what's gonna happen. Wow, y'all. Damn. I don't know, something's just explosive. That was like the word I was hearing, and like, you know, you can see my cat clearly damaged these cards. But what was really interesting about what I was picking up on is it really genuinely feels like, I don't know if you guys just don't care about your relationship with this person, or like this could just be also your personality, but there's just something very much like where you're just really in your own lane and you're unbothered of how you impact other people. But this is different than some of the other piles in the sense that this genuinely feels like you're like, this person needs to take responsibility for my thoughts, feelings, actions, and choices, when it's like, no, that's on you. Okay, so when you guys, pile number 4, are gonna see this person next, I don't think you're gonna see this person next. Like, this genuinely feels like someone cut you off, blocked you. Maybe you're not seeing the signals clearly, or you're not getting it. Like, I'm definitely getting the energy of, like, some of y'all, like, after you heard me say that, you just want to click off the reading. Because it's not what you want to hear. And I'm like, well, then what do you expect? You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of other piles here that, you know, there are conversations and details, but, like, for you guys, like, you want to have control so bad, and you're basically, like, you're like the kind of person that when you get tarot readings that you don't like, you're like, I'll just reshuffle again. I'll reshuffle again. Until you get something that you want to hear. When it's like, well, okay then, but then what's the point of a tarot reading? You know what I mean? Like, why did you ask in the first place if you aren't getting a response that you want? Let's go ahead and see what cards you have. Alright, 2 of Pentacles. No? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Because for some reason, there's like a weird energy with this Emperor where I was like, when it was upright, I was hearing no, but then it didn't want to be turned around, so that's interesting. Eight of Pentacles, right? Yeah, there's something too, like something about you guys, whenever you watch my tarot readings, you feel like you're psychoanalyzing what I'm doing with the cards and you think I'm faking when I'm like, no, I'm just going with my vibes. Like, I think it's just because, like, you guys, maybe you guys really, really struggle with understanding psychic relationships or whatever, or again, you think I'm just making stuff up out of my butt when I'm like, I'm trying to work here. I don't want your energy in my space. I mean, I hope this helps you process whatever you're doing, but okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, it like genuinely feels like I'll feel energy or heat or movement, and it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right, and then I'll pop back into my body and then be like, okay, let's look at these cards. I think you guys also get frustrated whenever this might also be something about your reading style where, because I just straight channel, to you guys you're like, well, that's not what that card means. And for me, I'm like, I'm just picking up on whatever, and then I think about the cards last. But there's a lot of stuff that does apply, so I can at least try to do my best to interpret each card as close to the practical meaning as possible. But I do think that that is going to play a role in your relationship with the person that you're inquiring about when you see them next. Okay, so with Eight of Pentacles, so Eight of Pentacles is about hard work. So maybe you might see this person in a work setting, right? So, I'm thinking of a coffee shop that I like to go and do readings at in Austin. And they've got like a bunch of art hanging on the walls and whatnot. And it's quite the vibe. So maybe quite literally you will see this person maybe at a coffee shop. I mean, we've also got the little boba tea there. You may also see this person in a work relationship. Some of you guys, though, I genuinely feel like for some of y'all, you won't be seeing this person again because they don't want to have a relationship like that, or you didn't understand that they don't want to come back. Take what resonates. But with this, like, Two of Pentacles, like, oh, it's like really creepy looking Two of Pentacles, because Two of Pentacles is all about finding balance, right? And there's something about like just the lady in the photo is really creepy. So maybe you're like anticipating something negative happening. Or like you're twisting something about your scenario with your person in a way that you're kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go see this person, and this person's like laughing maniacally in the corner and like he. Like, I don't know if you guys have like a certain kind of anxiety or complex that makes you feel like someone's out to get you. So you might struggle with paranoia of some kind. That's definitely something I'm feeling, because I'm kind of like, oh, like, who's this creepy person? And I was like, that's not even the person we're asking about. Why are you thinking about this topic over here? Sorry, y'all, the video cut off. So I kind of like interrupted the reading. So anyways, though, so we've got my charm is poisonous, I meet you in my dreams, and you are triggering my wounds. So for those of you that you are anticipating meeting up with a romantic partner or whatever, I'm feeling like sexual partner, there's some kind of an energy where there's something just feels like you're very suspicious of a romantic partner. So maybe this person is like, you're going on a date and you're trying to determine, okay, how's this date going to go with this person? Or this could be a friend of yours, but you're like, it almost gives me like OCD vibes of getting an intrusive thought of like, oh my gosh, what if I just randomly stabbed this person? You know, that's my best friend, and oh my gosh, I couldn't think of that. And you're just, you know what I mean? Like there's just something that your mind is having a hard time settling with this. And so I don't know if you're trying to use this reading as reassurance. But with the I meet you in my dreams, this kind of feels like that doesn't really feel very accurate. Okay? Because there's something about like like when you see this person next, you're gonna go slow. Again, it's gonna be in some kind of like a public place. And I see you kind of like anticipating, like maybe you literally saw something similar in a dream, but you have a hard time distinguishing between reality and this dream state. And I think you're not entirely aware that the dream state is reality. Um, like you're just having a really hard time getting grounded, for that reason. With the you were triggering my wounds. Yeah, there's something about like when you're in a relationship with this person or whatever is going on between you and the other person, like this person triggers you. And I don't think you're picking up on that because literally the scenario I'm seeing is the next time you see them, if you do, you're just sitting there existing and you have a hard time being across the table from this person. Like something about them just existing just ignites this rage in you or fear. And there's some kind of like again, I'm almost feeling like it's like this evil cat sitting and laughing at you or whatever and thinking this person has all these like evil thoughts towards you. And it's like, no. I don't know if like maybe too, like maybe there's a person in charge or in power, or like you feel very, very disenfranchised. When I'm looking at this Emperor card, for example, yeah, it's reminding me of a card from another deck I have called Symbolon. And basically the scenario is like when the king sees his reflection in the mirror, he falls off of his chair. And that's the analogy that my therapist taught me about, like with triggers, is basically you're witnessing a hurt version of yourself. And so, like, I'm just saying, if you go and see this person again, it's going to be very, very triggering for you. So, for some of you, this might be, oh, I'm going to go and hang out with my ex, or this person I used to date, or this person I'm interested in, even. I don't even know what it is, but like, you're going to be doing like some kind of mundane activity with this person, and it's going to be hard for you to get through the situation because you don't know how to stay grounded. I'm ready for a new beginning, and I don't know what I'd do without you. Yeah, so there's kind of like an energy of like maybe you missed this person. And so, but it's weird because with like, I don't know what I'd do without you, it doesn't really feel accurate to your reality. So, like, you'd say this to this person, but like, really, you just know you're supposed to say that in order to evoke a response from this other person. You know what I mean? So it's literally kind of like you're not able to encounter or connect these feelings of empathy together. And with like my charm is poisonous again, it really feels like you go through this cycle of it just really honestly feels like it's a form of self-harm, but it's because you haven't learned to recognize certain thoughts and feelings within yourself. And so your first reaction is to have this emotional response. And so, like, when you're with this other person, like, I see you trying to, like, comfort yourself. So, for example, like, my eyes are on the cat, and I see, like, the cat, like, holding the mug close, right? So you're sitting there trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna try to get through this conversation. I also, like, wanted to start coughing. It was, like, a smoker's cough, right? And then like I'm ready for a new beginning, and it's kind of like you have this idea of how the situation's gonna go because you're like, well, because I demand it. And so like I don't know if you guys are some of the spiritual people that maybe you've either done like psychedelics, or you come from the line of thinking that like if I just think about this a certain kind of way, it's just going to manifest, and that's what's going to be, you know what I mean, that's going to be my reality. And the problem with that kind of thinking is that can really, really distort you from being grounded. You know, like whenever I pick up this deck of cards, right? I can physically touch it, I can hold it, I can drop it, it makes a noise. I'm physically present in this body. And there's something about your connection, either with this person or with whatever's happening, that it's not stable. Okay? It's not stable in your psyche. And so I think that's where this disjointed ability to connect with not only just other people, but with this person, it's kind of hard for you to be able to authentically I don't want to even say see, because it's almost like, oh gosh, okay, this makes sense because it almost feels like you're very, very, very literal. So when I say, like, I can't believe you don't see this, you think literally I cannot visually see this. Versus what I say, you don't see this, I'm like, you don't know this or you don't perceive this. And so that's why words have to be super specific with you guys. I am sorry, because this is definitely frustrating on your part. I totally understand. And also why, when you're trying to have conversations with people, it's almost like when you meet them in a public place, you get overwhelmed and distorted right off the bat because you're kind of like already struggling to communicate. And there's something with this, like, emperor in reverse. Like, I don't know if there's, like, daddy issues or there's some kind of, like, a fear of abuse. Definitely, like, a heavy, like, something really either bad or tragic happened in your past. So, like, the only thing that feels real is your dreams. So, maybe what you're kind of experiencing is due to maybe your own psychic and spiritual abilities. You're perceiving reality in one way, and then when it comes to this 3D present explanation, I guess you have a very difficult time connecting with others for that reason. And that might be something that happens in your encounter with this person, where I almost feel like you start talking to this person out loud, not in your head. Because there's also kind of like this vibe of, like, maybe, for example, you believe that if you think hard enough towards or at this person, you're telepathically communicating with them, which, at least I know for myself, being able to psychically pick up on other people, it's not done through force. So, for example, if I sit here and I send you a word like, okay, it was weird because, like, in my brain I said 7, but visually I saw 9. So, I'm not an expert here, but it's just like things like that where if you were sitting there thinking I was sending you, like, fish or dog or whatever, then that was not accurate, and there's something kind of like, sometimes you're able to predict patterns, but that's not grounded in intuition. Maybe sometimes, but there's some kind of, like, because of this distorted sense of reality, you can't always distinguish what this person's actually saying when they're even talking to you. And again, I keep wanting to go back to being like, well, I want to focus on the reading of what happens when you see this person, but it's almost kind of like people don't take time or spend time with you. You know what I mean? In the ways that you need to in order to even help understand and unpack a lot of this stuff. With the you are triggering my wounds, like, in your encounter with this person, like, if you're getting this triggered, just going on, like, a coffee date with someone, or, like, even assuming it's a date. Some of you guys, you're going out to coffee with someone and you just kind of assume that's what's going on between the two of you, and it's like, no. That's, like, the distortion, because, like, for some of you guys, it'll literally be like, you look at an attractive person and you just assume that they're interested in you. Maybe because they made eye contact or even not. And that's where that kind of disconnect is like, that's not true. Like, that person just met you. And so, I think you're just, in this next encounter, you're going to be more ready to be able to recognize your truth and the distortion that you're coping with every single day. Because, like, I know what my distortions are, but, like, this energy, I'm like, holy cow, this is just really difficult to read through because I'm trying to figure out how to translate what you're even experiencing into my reality and then articulate it back to you. And that's why, like, for example, like, if you have brain damage or if you have something genetic that's going on that's creating this scenario, or again, like, one too many bad acid trips, whatever the case may be, I think it's this fear of abuse and subjugation and chaos and disorder that's really holding you back from getting able to, like, see the truth of your situation, see yourself accurately and understand that people are concerned about you and that they care. There's a lot of like inner child imagery here, and I feel like the deflecting away from, like, you're just kind of like dismissing your needs simply because, like, again, you've just been trained that, okay, well, if I do something wrong, someone's going to beat me, or I'm bad, or this bad thing's going to happen. And I get the fear, but, like, none of this is really based in something that's happening in this current moment, And so, like, for example, if you came to this pick a card reading and you were like, okay, when I went out to go talk to this person, what bad thing happens? I know it's going to go badly between me and this other person, and I just want to shut the whole thing down because I can't accept that. When it's like, well, I don't think this situation's going to go bad. I think you're just getting triggered ahead of the reading, and then even if I tell you it's going to be okay, you're going to show up and you're going to be like, all right, the reading told me it was okay, and I'm seeing everything softening, but you still have to anticipate, like, these triggers, and again, like, maybe you have really intense sexual thoughts that you can't control, so for example, maybe that's where you're like, oh, okay, this person's trying to seduce me, when really you're like, I'm just very hypersexual, or I have this. Yeah, it just feels like there's something about, like, self-regulating and being able to connect to other people. You're not understanding consent the same way that most people do. And then you're like, but I met you in a dream once. It's like, okay, I definitely feel, though, that, like, for you guys, just to kind of be responsible, if you are, like, having psychic visions about a person or doing different things, I highly recommend not going and telling them that you have that, simply because not everyone's prepared. Even if it is a spiritual person, there's just something about your energy that if people are not... I mean, like, I'm not a licensed mental health professional, disclaimer everywhere. And I think if people judge this energy very, very quickly, they also will get triggered by it. So it's kind of like you get triggered and then other people get triggered and then you're left in this, like, oh, well, everything's bad, or you just experience these loops over and over and over again. So basically, I'd just say for you guys, pile number 4, finding people who are safe places to interact with your energy, therapists, people familiar with mental health disorders. For some of you guys, you do really struggle with connecting with humans and people, and so maybe this is, like, one of the few places that you've found that, oh, wow, something actually makes sense in my head, and I don't feel as crazy. Yeah, and then, like, even, like, looking at this Two of Pentacles, she started calming down, I think it just really comes down to there's just a lot of fear about this situation with your person, with yourself, and once you understand how to communicate that more appropriately, a lot of this energy is going to shift away, and then you're going to be able to stay present in the moment. So, yeah, and then it's just going to be like a normal day. So, yeah. Just giving you guys big hugs. I immediately wanted to cry, and I'm like, damn, like, I feel like you guys are just carrying a lot because of your mental health. And understand that, like, the people from your past, they don't need to have a hold on you anymore. Okay? I mean, assuming they're not in your life currently, but, like, if this is like a friend, you're just going out for coffee and you're sitting there trying to manage all this chaos and stuff, it's like, it's okay to bring things to help you ground, it's okay to, like, if you've identified that this person's safe, it's okay to be like, hey, do you mind if I you know, crochet while we talk? You know what I mean? Do you mind if I do this while we're talking to help me self-regulate? If that person's okay with it, it's like, as long as it's not harming you or others, then, like, okay. You know? And sometimes you may need to explain things. But, yeah, you know? Like, maybe talk about your dreams, you know? Like, the sleeping kind, or even just, like, what do you think about the future? Or what conspiracy theories you like, you know? I think just being able to talk about stuff that really interests you, I think will help with your conversation with this person and realism. Because I think over time, you know, you're just going to find out you just had a really hurt inner child. And the wounds from childhood, you know, I know it's hard when they're carrying forward into your adult life in spaces, but, like, you can find a balance that'll work for you. You know, and Spirit's rooting for you, and, you know, change is coming in your situation for the positive, you know, but you gotta be able to, like, you know, some of you guys, like, maybe you hide behind art. You know, I see, like, this lady kind of, like, peering around the edge to look at the guy, and it's like, you just gotta be able to be like, hey, you know, you don't have to be in this limbo state and trying to hide this version of you. I think harms you more than it does the other person when you can't manage yourself, you know? And there are safe people that can see this version of you and help you navigate it. You just can't always assume that someone who is not licensed in mental health stuff can do that, you know? But, yeah, it's like, you don't have to let loose, but you can also be like, hey, you know, I've got schizophrenia, I've got bipolar disorder, I've got DID, you know, there's all kinds of different stuff. And you'd be surprised how, when you meet the right people, they don't care. If anything, it's always, like, fun to ask questions, too. That might be a little scary at first, but, like, eventually, you know, you can make these previously stressful situations positive in the end. Just don't reject yourself first, okay? Anyways, thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. If you're interested in booking a session with me, links in the description down below. Also, in case you guys are not going to therapy, I do have discounts to, I think, Talkspace on my Linktree. So if you check out my Linktree link in the description, you can get a discount there. But please make sure you talk to a mental health professional. I think it will be really, really important for you. And, you know, maybe consider getting yourself some tarot cards, you know? I love having cards that have images on them. And if it's not tarot, you can also take note cards, you know, test out your intuition and be able to focus on putting sensations to words. There's also stuff in therapy, too, that you can do, like, it's mostly, like, connecting words to sensations, to help with, like, if you've had trauma that happened as a child, you know, that developmental thing is important, so that way you can start articulating what you need to the right mental health professional. But yeah, anyways, though, I will see you all next time. Take care, guys. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen group number 5. And these are going to be your messages on what is going to happen when you see this person next. So right off the bat, y'all, for this pile, you guys are friends. I don't know if this is, like, your best friend, or, I mean, there could be romantic elements, but I think, like, platonic, like, good vibes fun is really a cornerstone to this relationship here, because I'm already like, oh my gosh, we're going to a theme park, or, like, oh, I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but I'm gonna go see my bestie. Like, it kind of has, like, a very adventurous vibe. Or it could just be something that, like, when you see them next, you're not gonna know how it happens. But I definitely feel like you're gonna be in a good mood on your way to go see them. Or there's some kind of positive aspect to this. Maybe you haven't seen this person in a while, or maybe you thought something wasn't gonna work out, and when you finally, like, oh my gosh, maybe this person does like me, or maybe I know the truth now, so I don't have to hide about this, you know? there's some kind of like very liberated, happy feeling that's coming from this pile. And yeah, if that doesn't resonate with you, feel free to check out some of the other piles, or this video might not be for you. Disclaimer, this is a general message, so only take what resonates. Yeah. Anyways, y'all, let's go ahead and see your cards. Ayo, okay, so interestingly enough, I'll start with the first thing. That was, wow, my brain is moving so fast. I'm channeling faster than I can actually talk. Because the first thought was like, oh, they were like eating, maybe they're gonna go out and get ice cream, or they're gonna get dinner, or whatever. There's gonna be like food, or like a surprise. I was hearing like disorder, which I was like, no. So I've got like music going on in my head, and so I can't focus. But what I was gonna say was, originally when I was trying to picture like the scenario of when you see this person next, the vibe was a lot slower than the energy I was feeling. So maybe like, for example, like you're super excited, but like, you know, you gotta take a slow bus ride, or you gotta travel, and it's gonna be like, okay, it's gonna take like a couple hours to go see them, or whatever. So there's kind of like a waiting period where you're gonna be sitting there patiently, like, and then I was like flipping over the cards from this one deck, and then the first thing that comes out is like, it's flipped in the opposite direction. It was like, our love is unconditional. I was like, oh, that is so cute. Oh my gosh. And then, you know, I flipped another one over, and then I was like, I want to marry you. And I was like, whoa, okay. I'm gonna marry your bestie here. You can also take that for the platonic people. That's just commitment. And then I'm learning about soul connections and twin flames. Oh gosh, you're crushing on this person. Something about easy. Yeah, I want to give something special to you. Please choose me. Yeah, so to me, this gives me, if not date vibes, definitely just like going out and having a good time with your person. So maybe somebody gives you a surprise gift. All right, like I'm immediately thinking of like my friends who, whenever we go and travel, you know, they're always giving my favorite rock band a gift, or you know, even if it's something small, you know, even buying you lunch or whatever, there's some kind of like just a small little gesture that's really, really sweet. So I feel like your person either likes to give gifts or you like to give gifts, but I feel like this person's like, yeah, maybe you guys are gonna go get your hair done, or I'm hearing like Sonic the Hedgehog. There's some kind of like special interest of maybe this person's really hyper, or just has a lot of love for you. With Please Choose Me, it kind of feels like there's some kind of like an insecurity going on between you and this person. So maybe, for example, like while you're really excited, when you actually show up, you're feeling down about yourself. Like maybe you're like worried about what your hair looks, or you're kind of like withholding your feelings a little bit, or this person is. Like there's some kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go see them, and then like you show up and you're like completely deadpanned. It's like, you're allowed to like have fun and show your emotions. Jeez, gosh. Yeah, King or Knight of Swords in reverse, Six of Pentacles in reverse, the World in reverse, Page of Cups in reverse. Interesting. I don't know. There's something about like you flip this person's world upside down, okay? And so like they're very flattered by you. So I don't know if this person's a female. I don't want to assume genders, but I think in general there's a more feminine aspect to this person regardless, where like maybe you are trying to keep it cool. See, I don't know. That's why I keep getting date vibes where it's like, you know, like, and even if it's not a date, it just feels like you don't want this person to like know how you're actually thinking and feeling, you know? So like maybe you're a gift giver, for example, but you're trying to quietly be like, like I'm thinking of a friend of mine who she's very sneaky when it comes to like doing recon for like a birthday gift or something, where she's just like, oh yeah, did you like did you like this thing in particular for some reason? Okay, I just want to, you know, casually drop some details. So you're kind of like scoping out some information about this person. And like specifically since we have marriage, and then as well as like with this jewelry, I kind of see you trying to impress this person and trying to be like, okay, like, how did this person react when I said this joke? How did this person do this? You're like really analyzing it, right? And so I do feel like you, at the beginning of this encounter, you're going to be very much in your head, right? I was like, and then I'm also hearing like proposal. So even if it's not like an actual literal proposing to somebody, it does feel like the energy of introducing something new or introducing something to this connection. So like for example, being like with our love is unconditional, you know, like maybe you're coming out, or maybe, you know, there's just something about this person that this person matters a lot to you, and so you're going to be maybe dropping some information that you weren't originally gonna share or you're waiting to share. With the Knight of Swords, though, like I do feel like there's like a rejection energy, or you're very sensitive to rejection in this connection. Um, and so like at the actual like event itself, because like I do feel it's like maybe you'll spend the day together. Like immediately I'm thinking of from my past, it's like, okay, hanging out with your friends in the hotel room, or you're getting lunch, or going around, and then there's gonna be like an event later, right? So then, you know, like maybe you plan something and you're like, like, is this gonna go right? Like, is the surprise birthday party gonna remain a surprise? Or like, you know, what if they don't like it? Um, I think like you just got to be a little more careful about not overwhelming yourself with the details. Because like you don't need every little detail to go right. Okay, guys. Like I feel like you guys have been planning this for a while, or there's something that's just like really cute about y'all's energy, where it's like, hey, you know, take it easy on yourselves. It's like it's gonna go fine. And just trust your heart. You know, like if something feels wrong with your person, if they're not feeling it, then you know, pivot naturally, right? But there's some kind of like a fear of being like, oh God, I spent money on this. Like, I wasn't sure if they were gonna like it. You know, I don't know if this is gonna work out. And then at the end of the day, though, it's like your person enjoys spending time with you guys, though. Pile number 5, like you don't need to get them anything. You know, like maybe because you guys are very type A, you're kind of being like, okay, I gotta make sure there's always something going on or whatever. When this person's like, no, I mean, like, yeah, that's nice, but like, please choose me. Yeah, there's just definitely like, I think you both are worried about rejecting each other, you know, when it's like really y'all's feelings for each other are quite positive, you know? Yeah, with like Page of Cups here, so that's like kind of like, um, that could mean like maybe emotionally immature, so maybe this person does have like a little bit of a meltdown over coffee or something like that. Like it feels very minor, but you're like, you know, tense about it, or like something goes wrong. Um, but it feels like very minor, you know, like it's not like the whole thing's a wash, but like you're just very like, oh no, is this person being manipulative, or is it gonna go bad? And then you like, yeah, like, because to me it's like, I'm thinking of like, okay, if I spilled coffee on my new outfit, and then I'd be like upset. You're sitting there going like, shit. Well, the whole evening's gonna be ruined because of this bad day. When that's what someone else that was negative in your past would do. Versus this person just like, all right, I'll get over it because like you make a joke about something, or you're because you show reassurance that it's okay. This person goes like tea, and then yeah, I don't know, I keep getting like the tea. Um, yeah, I also just kind of see like something about like with the event, like if you guys are planning this ahead, like don't make it outside. Okay, like make it indoors, because I'm definitely feeling like some kind of a mishap may happen, like rain, or like something with like the world going on. Like so, maybe for example, you were planning a surprise trip to Europe or some kind of extravaganza thing, and then like the roads were closed due to construction, or you're late and you miss your flight, or that seems a bit extreme. But there's something like maybe, for example, it's like, dang, you can't travel to this location, or maybe there's like some financial difficulties. You know, there's just a bunch of like little things that may dampen the mood, but like, you know, your person's still there. Like, they still love you. And I just kind of see them just like not really being affected by the mishaps, you know, that you notice, that you would immediately be like, oh my gosh, like, I kind of see it like, again, taking someone on a date and then someone messes up the food and your person doesn't notice, but you're like, oh my god, I spent how much money? Why the fuck did you do? And you just want to like, you know, smack somebody, and then it's like, okay, I can't do that around her, and then you're like, this is just so funny. You're so like, you know, something about like whatever event or thing you're doing is really going to solidify your connection even more. You know, you just got to trust and not be in this energy. You know, this is the toxic energy that you don't want to do. But again, remember, this person is not the person from your past. This person behaves differently, and they're showing up for you, to connect with you, communicating with you, not somebody else. You. I also just see this person being kind of like absent-minded. So they're kind of like, yeah, I don't really need the fancy stuff. Let's go over there and just like stare at the grass for a bit. And you're just like, okay, don't you want me to get you something? And you're just like, nah. Or she's like, yeah, I don't care, I'm good. Oh, a spider. And I feel like that confuses you because it's unconditional love. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to perform for it. And you might not be accustomed to that because you're kind of used to people being like, gimme a handout, gimme shit. And this person's just like, why would I do that? That's weird. I also heard like, that's gay. And I'm like, why? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just a bit of emotional immaturity here in y'all's connection. So maybe that might confuse you a little bit. You might think this person's more mature than they actually are, or you are, and then they're showing up being like, ha, fart jokes. Yeah, and then like with the Six of Pentacles in reverse here, you know, yeah, like there's a weird like stealing energy, and I'm just sitting here like, I don't think this person's playing you or doing anything behind your back. Like, it just kind of feels like you're gonna feel like maybe you overspent your money on this person, or like there's just something about like the way you were anticipating something, or like with I'm seeing the scales here, like maybe you won a lawsuit against somebody and now you're like, oh, I want to spend it on this person, or like you gave money to somebody and then it didn't pan out. You know, maybe you were gonna get somebody a tattoo, or you were gonna like, I'm hearing like showstopper. I don't know, you're just doing something to press. It doesn't pan out. And I think like Spirit's trying to warn you ahead of time, like if you are trying to impress this person, don't spend all your money on that. Whatever it is, like don't do that. Okay? Because it's just gonna make you upset, and this person doesn't really need that. They'll feel flattered, but like it's more important that you spend time emotionally and not like, you know, to me I'm almost feeling like, you know, like, don't make like certain types of jokes. You know what I mean? Like, save your dead baby jokes or your 9/11 jokes or fart jokes for a different time, right? And I mean, you can test the waters with this person, but like, you know, like, I think they're going to be cool about it if you do something that they don't like. You know, they're not going to be like, oh my god, he said that one thing, breaking up. Like, no. I feel like you guys kind of fought a little too hard to end over something like that. You know, I just feel like there's a lot of unconditional love. I just feel like you guys are gonna have a good time. You know, you might be a little cranky because you're like, well, this thing didn't go right, and I slept on my pillow funny, and blah, 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 blah. And then you look over there at this person, her, and then you're just like, but I guess I can get over that now because I'm with my person. Aw, so cute. Yeah. Good for you guys, pal number 5. I wish you the best of luck in your connection with this person. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. Check out the links in the description down below if you are interested in booking with me, or I don't know, check out all the good stuff I have on there. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye.